Okay guys, welcome to vlog number 8. Today we are not going to play a tournament, today we're going to play a cash game session. If you're new to this channel, you can watch the poker vlogs we have already on our poker channel. It's amazing tournaments that we have played, record breaking tournaments. We played the PokerStars Poker Championship with the Platinum Pass, a lot of crazy hands, full house against 4 other guys, a lot of cooler, a lot of entertaining hands, so feel free to watch that. But since we are playing poker tournaments and making vlogs, we didn't have a lot of time or any time to play cash games. But I have good news. So I found somebody who's more than happy to help me with making the vlogs, so I have more time to play and make more poker content for you guys. So that's good news. So if you're ready, I am. Let's go. Let's make it happen today.
Okay guys, we buy them for 200 euros. The first couple of rounds we folded because we were card dead. But this hand we found ourselves in a small blind position. The blinds are 2.5, 2.5 and the action begins with a series of limps. The cutoff limp followed by the button, and with ace 8-7 of diamonds in our hand, we decided to check, opting to see the flop without investing any additional chips. The big blind checked as well and the pot stood at 10 euros. The flop came down as 7-7 deuce with 2 clubs. We hit trip 7s on the flop, creating a strong hand. However, we check, hoping to induce some action from our opponents. The big blind also checked, but the cutoff seized the opportunity to make a move and placed a bet of 15 euros. The button, however, decided that his hand wasn't strong enough and folds his hand. Now it's on us. With a powerful hand, we call the 15 euros, looking to extract more value from our trips. The big blind decided to fold his hand, leaving us with a cutoff player. The dealer revealed the 4 of hearts, which didn't significantly impact the board or change the strength of our hand. After considering the situation, we decided to check, choosing to pretend to be weak and try to get another bet, but the cutoff player opted to check back and we go to the river. The river is the use of spades, creating a full house for us with a strong hand locked in. We didn't want to get checked back, so we took the initiative and placed a bet of 17.5. Since we didn't show too much strength, it is possible he could make a hero call with an ace in his hand, but the cutoff decided to fold his hand and the pot was shipped in our direction. So we were card dead for like 2 hours and we dropped to 127 euros. The next hand we are in the button position, holding the powerful hand of ace king of suit. The action started with the raise of the undergun, raising to 7.5, the mid position called and the hijack also called, indicating some interesting in the hand. Now it was our turn to act, and recognizing the strength of our hand, we decided to execute a well-timed re-raise to 55 euros. As we made our move, the other players in the hand began to fold. The small blind, big blind, the undergun player, the mid position folded. So it was fold to the hijack, who faced with a significant raise, contemplating his option and ultimately elected to call or raise. The pot grew to 130 euros, setting the stage for an intense battle. The dealer laid out the community cards, revealing the flop was the 8-9 deuce rainbow. The flop didn't particularly connect with our hand, but it did provide some potential since we have 2 overcards. However, the hijack player had other plans. They unexpectedly went all in and he does cover us. Undeterred by his aggressive move, we made the call, confident in the strength of our hand. He wanted to deal it twice and we agreed. The turn was a 5 of hearts and the river the 8 of hearts. The second round, the turn was a 4 of hearts and the river the 6 of spades. We turned over our cards. We see that the fate had different outcome in store. The hijack player turned over his cards, revealing a surprise combination of 6-5 of clubs, giving them a pair of 5 on the turn in the first round and a pair of 6 in the second round on the river. So we were way ahead on the flop, but luck was on his side as he sucked out on us, snatching the pot away from us. Despite our strong starting hand and strategic play, sometimes poker can be unpredictable and unexpected turns of events can occur. It was an unfortunate series of events as the hijack player capitalized on the opportunity presented by the board and secured an unlikely victory. As the chips were pushed towards the hijack player, we took a moment to regroup and reflect on the hand. Poker is a game of skill, strategy and calculated risk, but it's also subject to the element of luck. Remember that variance is an inherent part of the game, knowing that in the long run, solid play and decision making would yield positive results. So we rebuyed for another 200 euros. After a series of small and uneventful hands, our stack had dwindled to 105, so we are 300 euros down for the night. In the mid position, we were dealt ace queen of suit. We opened to 10, the hijack sensing an opportunity and called our raise, but to our surprise, the button made a re-raise to 25 euros. Undeterred by the button's aggression, we carefully considered our options and decided to execute a 3-bet, raising to 60 euros. The hijack decided to fold, however, the button player opted to call our 3-bet, displaying their willingness to take on the challenge. With the pot standing at 134 euros, the dealer revealed the flop, and the flop comes ace, 8, deuce, rainbow. We hit top pair with a strong kicker, seizing the opportunity to capitalize, and we confidently pushed all in with 45 euros, but the button falls. As the chips slid our way, we collect a well-timed victory, adding 75 euros to our stack. It was much needed boost after the previous losses. With a renewed sense of confidence, we look forward to the next hand, hoping to continue our winning momentum and recover the losses we had previously. Poker is a game of ups and downs, and the ability to navigate through a challenging situation with skill and composure will be crucial in regaining your position at the table. The next hand, we pick up king queen offsuit in the hijack position with 165 euros. The undergun +1 raise to 7.5, the mid position player calls, and we re-raise to 25 euros. The small blind player falls, the big blind falls, the undergun player falls, but the undergun +1 player calls, and the mid position player falls, so we are heads up with 65 euros in the middle. The flop comes queen 8-8 rainbow. The undergun +1 checks immediately. We bet 35 euros and he gives up, and we add on another 40 euros to our stack. We are in a small blind position and we pick up king 10 offsuit. The pre-flop action goes as undergun player, mid position, hijack and the button all in before 2.5. We and a big blind check, so we go 5 way to the flop with 15 euros in the pot. The flop came king jack 7 rainbow, giving us top pair. All players, including us in the big blind, checked. However, the button decided to bet 7.5. We and the big blind call the bet, while the rest of the field fold. So the pot increased to 37.5 going to the turn. On the turn, the 4 of heart was dealt. We check once more, but this time the big blind leads for 15 euros. The button falls, and we are not going to fold yet with the top pair with a decent kicker. So we choose to call and go to the river. The river brought us the queen of hearts with a king high pair on the board, but there's a decent chance that he's going to have a flush, but I think every hand between king jack or the king queen or maybe ace king, he would make a bet or re-raise, then we can fold. But I think it's also possible that he can make a hero call or a call with the ace queen or maybe jack 10 kind of an, or maybe king with a lower kicker since he sticked around from the beginning. So we bet 45 euros, the pot is now 112 euros. He thinks for a while, and at the end he picks up calling stakes and put it in the middle. We show king 10 of suit and he shows king 9 of suit, so our king beats his king with the 10 of kicker. So guys, let's move to the next hand. We get ace 8 of hearts on a big blind position with a starting stack of 237. The action pre-flop started with a Mississippi of 5 euro, so that means small blinds is first to act. The small blind player calls 5 euro, we call, the mid position player calls, the hijack calls, the cutoff calls, and the button checks. So the pot stood at 30 euros going into the flop. The flop came ace queen king, giving us top pair. The small blind checks, and since there is a flush draw and possible straight or straight draw, we bet 12.5 to see where we at. The mid position player falls, hijack calls, the cutoff falls, the button calls as well, and the small blind falls. The pot is increasing to 67.5, and on the turn the 5 of spades was dealt. Since there is now 2 flush draws, we continued with a bet of 32.5. The hijack calls, but the button falls, so we are heads up with 132.5 in the middle. The river brought a 3 of diamonds, so both flushes missed, so that means that's a good card for us. We decided to make a final bet of 57.5, hijack the only remaining player, falls to our bet, so as a result we won the hand and the pot of 132.5 was awarded to us. This means we gained 82.5 in this hand, increasing our stake to 320 euros. We are grinding our way up and are only down for 80 euros. For this hand, we are in the small blind position with a stack of 330 euros. So we're still down for 70 euros. The action pre-flop starts with an all-in of the undergun +1 player for 27.5. The mid position player calls 27.5. And the button makes the call as well. We pick up the royals, guys. What a nice scenario for us. I don't think the mid position player or the button going to have aces here, so we're almost always ahead at the moment. If he had a hand like aces or ace king kind of a hand, he would make a re-raise for sure. We take a look at the stack of the mid position player and see that he has only $80 left, but the button player has much more, so we make a re-raise to 75 euros, basically putting the mid position player all in. The mid position player goes all in for 80 euros, but the button however makes a fall, so we have to call 5 more. The pot stood at 217.5 going into the flop. The flop was queen 5-3 2 hearts. The turn is the 8 of diamonds, and the river is a 4 of clubs. The mid position player shows king 4 of hearts. We show pocket kings, and the undergun +1 player mugs his hand, so that means we win this nice pot. We gain another nice win of 137.5. This means we are now in profit for the first time this session with a new stake of 467.5. The next hand, we are in the mid position with 9-8 offsuit with a stack of 420 euros. The action preflop starts as the undergun +1 calling for 2.5, and we decided to make a raise to 12.5. By our aggressive play, we at least going to try to let the other players fold, including the button, so we can have position on the flop. The small blind calls a raise and the button falls, but the undergun +1 also calls, so we are going 3-way to the flop, which comes 9 queen 3, giving us mid pair. With no aggressive action from any player, the betting was checked around and the turn was dealt. The turn card was a 7 of clubs. The small blind takes the initiative and bets 27.5. Undergun +1 player falls, but we decide to stick around and make the call. The pot increased to 95 euros, so we go heads up to the river. The river was a 4 of diamond. This time the small blind checks the river. I don't believe that he's going to do it 2 pair, queen 9 kind of a hand. 6-5 is a straight now, so I don't believe he's going to check that as well. I believe that our 9 is going to be good here, but since we have showdown value, there's no need to bet and maybe get bluffed out of the hand, so we check our hand and then pair of 9 is better than a pair of 7, and we took the pot down. This hand highlights the importance of understanding hand strength and making appropriate decisions based on the board texture and opponent's actions. So I think the best play here is to check back and go for the pot. In the next hand, we are in the undergun position with Queen 9 of clubs. The button opened with a Mississippi of 5 euros, the small blind calls, the big blind falls, we decide to call, and the hijack also sticks around. The pot stood at 22.5 going into the flop. The flop comes 5 Jack King 2 club. What a dream flop, giving us an inside straight draw and also straight flush draw. The small blind checked, we decided to check as well. The hijack took the initiative and bet 10 euros. The button falls to the small blind, who makes a min raise to 20 euro. It's a very weird raise, but still we choose to call. We also could make a re-raise here, but calling is fine as well. And the hijack player only has to put 10 euros more into a pot of 72 euros. So he had pot odds and he makes a call. The pot increased to 82.5. The turn card is the ace of clubs. We have the best possible combination at the moment, also known as the nuts. We turn the nut flush draw with no one betting on a turn. It checked around to the river. The river reveals the 9 of hearts. The small blind initiated the action with a bet of 20 euros. Seizing the opportunity, we are going to make a raise, of course. We make a re-raise to 100 euros for maximum value. The hijack lets go, and the small blind seems to have a toss decision, but I think his hand is too strong to fold. As he made a minimum re-raise on the flop, it is chance that he has a hand like King Jack or maybe a flush draw. Even if he hit his flush on the turn, we have the nuts, we cannot lose his hand, and at the end he makes the call. So the pot is up to 282.5. We show Queen 9 of clubs, he shows King 5 for 2 pair. So we have now a stack of more than 600 euros. So this hand demonstrates the importance of playing drawing hands cautiously and strategically. By checking the flop with our inside straight and straight flush draw, we control the pot size and allowed ourselves to see the turn card for free. I think a re-raise here was even better, but we still had to catch up. It is essential to carefully consider the board texture or hand strength and the actions of the opponents to make optimal decisions. Okay guys, this is the last hand of the night. We are on the button position with ace 8 of stud and a stack of 500 euros. Pre-flop, we decide to raise 10 euros, the small blind and the big blind both fold, the mid-position player calls a raise, and the pot stood at 25 euros going into the flop. The flop comes King deuce 5 deuce deuce space. We didn't connect the flop however, as the pre-flop aggressor and with the potential for representing a strong hand like ace king or king queen or queens or aces, we decide to make a c-bet of 22.5. However, the mid-position choose to call our bet and the pot is now 70 euros. The turn card is a 3 of hearts with no significant improvement to our hand, and the mid-position player checking, we decide to make a strategic decision to check back. This play also allows us to pot control and avoid unnecessary losses if our opponent had a stronger hand. The river is a deuce of spades, completing the board with a possible flush. Mid position checked again, indicating weakness. I think if he would make the flush, he would go for a value bet to extract more profit. Recognizing this opportunity, we decide to bet to 62.5 and he immediately falls and we win the pot, adding 37.5 to our stake. Okay guys, as we close the poker night with a profit of 150 euros, we're reflecting on our decision making process, and being adaptable to the game flow will contribute to long-term success in poker. Remember to consider factors such as position, board texture and opponent tendencies when making strategic decisions. Thanks for watching, Royal Kai signing off, may the rivers be yours, guiding you to victory.